Okay, calm down. Wow, stage manager's gone all flippy on me. Welcome back to ESL One's Battlefield 4 finals for fall 2014. What a mouthful of Fs that is. Luckily, not the bad ones either. Alex is back with me. How you doing?
Hey, this is my first time at this
First time. It's cool, isn't it? It's like a space station of some kind, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the bracket, just to update you. If you've only just joined us, welcome to the Battlefield 4 coverage of our last Battlefield 4 finals of 2014. 120,000 euros given away over the course of 2014. And the bracket looks like this. Hopefully it'll be there. There we go.
There it is.
MYM, of course, winning their opening game 2-0 over our Australian friends, the Legionnaires. I don't know how to summarise this other than saying that was rough for them. I love international teams coming to different tournaments. Like when we get the Americans playing against the Europeans,
awesome.
We get the Australians in. I love it because it really does generate that kind of international bravado, and competition is great. But they didn't really bring it.
No, I think it was a big ask for them. I mean, we're dropping them into their first game. They've got off a plane, probably played a couple of public games,
and it's against MYM.
And then we drop them up against probably a top 3 seed. You know, that's a huge ask for these guys, especially when they're top of their region. They know what they're doing, obviously, but when they haven't got the competition, it's going to be so difficult to get to that level of Europe.
Okay, I was going to ask you whether you think they can get out of the group, but we need to find out who's going to win this next game first before we can talk about that. So let's move on to that. Our first team are Epsilon.
Yeah.
We all know about Epsilon by now. If we don't know about Epsilon in Battlefield 4, you haven't been watching any Battlefield 4. But for those of you that haven't, let's show you the lineup and talk through their season. How would you characterise their season this year?
One word, I'd say consistent. They're a team, they've got one first place finish in a cup, a second, and a couple of third, fourth. So that's Epsilon all over. Yeah. When they step into this environment, they have the potential. They've got the players. I mean, one of the huge things to highlight right there, you can see Mayek. That's a name you haven't so often seen when you're in a LAN environment because he wasn't old enough. He's just come of age, and he is the player when he turns up. Online, they had to get him in to get through the playoffs. He's a huge influence to Epsilon's game, and I think now he's here, this could be Epsilon's season.
Really? You go that far, one player?
I won't go that far, but his presence is huge, and I doubted it until I watched them play with Mayek and without him. I mean, it's night and day, so that's a real big one. One
of the new teams here, Epsilon, we've seen them in all 4 of our grand finals this year, but one of the new teams is MhSV. Talk to us about this team.
Yeah, MhSV is an interesting one. The community split. Some people say they've come out of nowhere. It's a strange expression, but they have quite literally turned up, and these guys wearing their hats, as you can see, looking stylish, and they just basically have beaten teams they shouldn't on paper. They've got the results online, and this is really their time to turn up at a LAN environment and an offline final and show that they're worth getting these results online as well as they can offline. It's a big one for them.
Okay. When we talked at the start of the program, we talked about 4 teams in particular. We talked about SK, of course, who were GC in the regular cups throughout the season. We know how good they are, having won 3 of the 4 cups themselves. We all know about Fnatic. They've won the previous 2 grand finals here at ESL One. And the 2 teams that stand out in this group are MYM and Epsilon. Are they the 4 that you expect to go through, or do you think that some teams like Planet Key Dynamics, MhSV, maybe they can squeak in?
I think it's the German power. We're here in Germany, and the 2 German teams are
home team advantage.
Exactly, the home team advantage. Our stage man will start cheering it extra loudly or something. But no, it's. I think those are the 2 to keep your eye on. MhSV, if they play like they do online, there could be some upsets, and I mean, I'm a big fan of upsets. You know, we're British. We like our underdogs.
Of course, underdogs are the best.
Exactly.
Winners, we hate them.
So I mean, I got my eyes on them.
Okay, predictions now.
For this game?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Epsilon. Just
boring.
I know.
Boring.
I'd be so happy to see MhSV take it, but right now, this is the first time sitting down at a LAN environment. It's going to go one way.
I was hoping he'd put his neck on the line. He didn't do it. You can, though, by going to esl-one.com/Battlefield and voting on the team you think will win this next match. You can put your virtual dollars, as it were, on either of these 2 teams. And there is a prize up for grabs for the best one at the end of the grand final tomorrow. Also, make sure you're getting in on the social media action, #ESL One. I've not done it yet. I'm sorry. I'm bad. But help me out by using #ESL1 on Twitter. Also, of course, the official ESL channels on Twitter and Facebook. Time now for our second game of the day. Can Epsilon make it 4 out of 4 out of the groups? We'll find out today with your commentary team this time round of Jason and Lauren.
And the real question we're wondering here today is how are Epsilon and how are MhSV going to do here in this offline environment? We obviously saw Makers a little bit earlier on. They were relaxed. They had a good time in their game versus Legionnaires. But this one's going to be tricky. This one's going to be very tricky here. Epsilon, obviously, probably the favorites. I think we were both to talk about it. I think,
let's be honest.
I think we're on board with Alex for that one.
Yep, I'm there.
But I really want to see what MhSV has done in practice. Like, for instance, Pyrogen, I'm just going to throw it back to that really quickly. Back in the first season, you know, came into groups or into the group playoffs, completely just stomped everyone, came into the offline finals, and they looked phenomenal.
There's a chance of it. They're a team that have picked up some really solid wins from MhSV, picking up against Gamers Connection and Media Makers through the cup stages. Now, this is online, though. They haven't been tested in these environments. That's also a factor. But they have got the occasional big result and really pushed a couple of teams. Let's remember how Fnatic got rustled by that CZ in use. That absolutely infuriated them. I wouldn't be surprised seeing that being the same effect on towards Epsilon, because Epsilon became that well-rounded team. They used to be like the UMAV, that kind of one to pick up maybe something that was a little OP at the time, you know, like a FAMAS or something like that, and run with that sort of play. But now they've kind of like, you know, melded themselves down a bit, and they've become this well-rounded beast that you can't just hard counter anymore. So it's a tough game for MhSV, but I've got to say, if there's a team that can certainly surprise, I'd say it's going to be them.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that one. And I think one thing we can say about Epsilon as well is, as Machine mentioned, they're probably one of the most consistent teams we've had throughout every season. They've always done well. They've never really done poorly. However, which is where I hope they're not consistent with, is when they come to the finals, they do not perform well.
Yeah, the thing that I'd say is that Epsilon probably are the better team result-wise, as you said, the most. They're sitting on 11 wins and 3 losses through the online cup stages, which is very impressive, only losing out to Gamers Connection twice, aka SK Gaming nowadays, and then 1 surprise loss to MYM to an extent. Now, I've argued with a lot of players recently and kind of discussed who's on form, and it's these three. These three, they're always listing down. So, you know, I think Epsilon have the potential here. They've had that consistent result, but how much consistency can they bring to this LAN environment with a new player?
Very true. And well, as you can see, the vetoes coming in. Nothing really too surprising coming with Propaganda and Infinity Garden being taken away. I'm still wondering when we're finally going to see one of those two maps come out to play, actually, probably into the finals of this one. But it looks like we'll have Parasol Storm as our first map, chosen by MhSV, Siege Shanghai second, and Zavod, of course, third here. And what's your thoughts on these maps?
I'd say Epsilon, they've got a good map pool there. Once again, consistent. It's the main thing. They've gone back to basics. They're playing nothing too extraordinary. Parasol Storm, a little bit questionable to start on,
Yeah,
I'd
that's
say.
an interesting one.
I'd say you could start on maybe a Zavod, which is very ground down, very, you know, basic. I think that would have been easier. But at the end of the day, Shanghai's there. They've still got a good couple of selections they can go for. But Storm could be dangerous. We've seen the CZ in action, generally in the hands of Banshing. And that's an engineer class, and we know that that's complemented very nicely on a map like this. So I wouldn't be surprised seeing this being a close game.
Yeah, and I think Parasol Storm is one of those maps that they looked at and it was like, if we could take a first map victory on this one, I think we're looking at Swiss Salient coming to the second one. Like, this is kind of a morale boost for them, where they kind of maybe want to catch Epsilon off guard a little bit from it. And obviously with the destruction of all the land everywhere, I really wonder, because I feel like we've seen from the summer season to fall, less teams destroying the buildings. I mean, there'll be a couple of key walls teams will always take out.
Yeah.
But there wasn't like the straight levolution that we saw coming in the summer season, which just completely destroying the buildings and taking those out of the equation.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that it has evolved because the teams kind of learned what it does and how then to kind of counter it. So as I said before, there are very few hard counters these days because the games have evolved and adapted and the map playstyles have changed. So the initial hold of just sitting in those 3 buildings within, you know, around that B site kind of, you know, got thwarted by the addition of being able to take them down, picking up the engineer class. Now people know what that does, so they can avoid it, and it's this back and forth. As I said, no hard counters these days. It's all about those kind of grinding out the very kind of intricate stuff and working it through that way. I'd still say the MhSV still have a chance here, but it depends how they play this. And then again, Epsilon always had a really solid playstyle on this one. I think they're one of the teams that did work out a way to actually lock down those buildings very nicely. So, well, it looks like MhSV are in good spirits at least.
Yeah, look pretty happy, look excited to be here as well. And, you know, of course, coming to this, obviously all the prep work that we did. If we're talking about Epsilon's side and talk about a player to really watch for, a player to really keep an eye out for, I think we both have to agree it's going to be Mayek.
Yeah, there's only going to be one person to watch at the moment, and it is Mayek. Just to see his performance, how he does. He did get questioned a hell of a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
A young player coming up through the scene, finally has this chance. And you can imagine the caliber he's going to have to be because he got into Epsilon straight away. You know what I mean? Most people get tried and tested in these environments before they get picked up by a big team like that. He's literally been, you know, held, waited. Epsilon claimed him.
Like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine until he got to that certain age. I don't say about consuming him, but he certainly joined them very quickly and got the job done. So I'm hoping he kind of steps up here. There's a lot of pressure on him, though, because let's be serious, if he doesn't have that 100% brilliant game that he always does because he's nervous or it's not the same, people will absolutely rip him apart. And that's one issue here, that people will be very harsh on his judgment coming out of this game. And he knows that.
And you think about, if you guys are, you know, fans of Counter-Strike, you know, you think of Chris J on Mouse Sports, who's always considered
or
like
a... now.
Yeah, there's so many people, they're considered like onliners, or they perform really well there, and they don't really see them as offline environments. But, you know, Chris J came to offline environment, destroyed everyone, played just as well as he did online, and completely caught people off guard. And I think this might be his chance to either shine or, unfortunately, dole out.
Well, let's see. I don't want to call it on one game.
Yeah, you can.
I don't want to be too harsh to this guy just yet. But obviously, this is Epsilon. They're expected to get to the top 3. Let's be very clear about this. They shouldn't be held back by someone like MhSV. As much as there is an outside threat there, it shouldn't happen. So, for me, I'm not sure. We're going to have to wait and see how this one kind of comes about. But I think Epsilon have everything to lose, whereas MhSV have everything to gain.
Yeah, very true. And, you know, speaking of MhSV, they actually did have a little bit of a roster change coming to this one. They lost one man, had to pick up someone else, and they brought one person back from kind of like the bench role, who was just always there, played a couple of times during the normal season through the cups, and is now obviously being forced to perform here at this offline environment. And, you know, again, to touch on what I said before, you know, Pyrogen had that 2 weeks to boot camp. They can do the exact same here. And obviously they have their work cut out for them. They have, you know, not really like a legacy, but they have a level they need to perform at that they've been able to do online to really kind of bring it to them. And of course, being here for the first time, they tried last season. They got knocked out in groups, unfortunately, and finally be able to make their way here. Already it's a victory for them, but you want to go home with money. I mean, there's a lot of money on the line here. And all the teams are fighting for it. Yeah,
it's not exactly like this is just the turn up for fun kind of thing. This is for money. There is cash on the line, and these two will be fighting it out for it. However, I think pride is a big thing for Epsilon now, picking up Mayek into this. I think that's a huge factor. You can see Epsilon on your screens right there. And for me, MhSV making those lineup changes may change their core kind of play style, because let's say Banshing isn't, you know, one of the players that now attends. He was the one man who really loved that CZ that is now the bane of everyone's lives, pretty much, because it's extraordinarily close to the FAMAS. It just has more bullets in a clip. So I don't know if that's making it better or worse, but it's still there. It's just with the engineer class. So something to keep your eyes on, something to bear in mind. If their players from MhSV aren't here who actually enjoy that sort of class, the engineer role, then it could change the team dynamic completely. So just keep your eyes on it, see if they actually run it or not, or they might just go all medic and try and just throw out a brand new game style.
We'll find out here very, very shortly. And, you know, I was talking, or I think I was messaging David about this during the week. And he was talking about how, what are you talking about the patch and how they kind of nerfed the med kit. And we're seeing a lot of people use the first aid kit now instead.
Isn't it only under suppressed fire that it doesn't work as...
And that's a big portion of it as well for these teams.
True.
And he was saying, you know, we might see a lot more engineer kits, a lot more support kits as well. And we're just going to find out here in this game. The first one we saw pretty standard, you know, assault kits, wasn't anything too tricky. But coming to this one, you're expecting to see engineer classes. Support, only one man we've ever seen really do that. That was Asterix, who was formerly on the Epsilon roster. So I'm not sure we'll really see any of that.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see on this one. It looks like we're seeing a couple of them coming into this. Paracel Storm is a bit of a beast of a map, you've got to put it that way. It's going to be hard for these teams to really get it into their minds now. And I've got to say it, they do look ready.
They do. I love the GoPro cameras we have now, because obviously they're in the different studio this time. They're actually across the hall and have a great opportunity. But we'll be kicking this one off here. And, you know, Lauren, what are you expecting for this one? How are you expecting these teams to really react in the beginning?
Well, I want to follow the engineers for starters. And funny enough, Horex running the CZ, the gun that I thought was going to be in the hands of MhSV. But he's picked that up. So they're replicating the style of MhSV to an extent. And I want to see how this one goes. I think there's going to be a little bit of explosions at the start, but for me, it's all about the engineer class. What do they decide to take down, and where do they make that initial push?
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Kicking off the first map here in this best of 3 of our second game of Group A. Epsilon up against MhSV. Epsilon will be over on that Chinese side here. Let's see how things kick off. As you can see, Meg going to pick up the first frag here, off to a good start. And, of course, all the lovely explosions kicking off towards those buildings.
Yeah, indeed. Brilliant start there coming out Epsilon focusing initially on that B pickup. They maybe feel that A and C are the secondary choices to maybe turn their attention towards further down the line. But I want to just take a little bit of time in MhSV. Let's see what he's up to straight away, see how he's finding this. As you said, already getting that kill in the bag, and they have secured the 2-1. However, B now being questioned, he's going to come back around and try and support the rest of his side. So already trying to refocus. Nice bit of team play coming out. He spotted a couple of players, but Marzu and Duke will be there to maybe pick up the pieces. But so far, not too much evolution. We're not seeing the buildings come tumbling down just yet. It's still fairly much in one piece. So we'll see how that changes.
And it kind of comes into the fact of what team wants to do it. I mean, I remember seeing Dignitas back in the day, and sometimes, like, when they realize, oh, we need to take these buildings out, they start doing that when they have about 40 tickets left to work with. And of course, that's a little bit too late. But a little bit of push comes in towards the C flag. Going to be able to pick up that man who's trying to go for the back cap here in MhSV. He's been a sentry role. Remember, he was the big slayer for their team back in the first season in winter 2013, and David kind of stepped up and Duke to kind of take over that position. But he's doing well. 3-1 here so far. Yeah,
top fragging for Epsilon. I think people might need to keep him in mind now going forward. But at the end of the day, the tickets are still fairly close, 140 to 130. Put it this way, Alex is still replicating what MhSV's doing. He was on 3-2. MhSV just broke ahead on 4-1. So kill-wise, they're very close. But so far, it's been a very, back and forth game. B has constantly been changing hands. And at the end of the day, MhSV are keeping this fairly within reach, even though they are stuck at a 2-1 against them. They're going to have to find a new route through possibly, but they might actually, no, tell a lie. They're in a bad spot now. They've got the terrible spawn, which, as you can see, the engineer class may take down some of the cover that was being used to suppress them, but still, they're in a really tough predicament to break up from this sort of spot.
It looks like Epsilon already prepared to kind of stop this push coming in. Reinforce that C flag with 2 people. You see MhSV getting the respawns in as well here towards that C flag, trying to go for the hit. And of course, Rami trying to take down a little bit more of these walls. But Epsilon picking up a tri-cap, right off the get-go. We're only 2.5 minutes in. They have a tri-cap. It looks like they're going to be able to maintain it for a while because they're almost getting a full squad wipe here. As you can see, MhSV, they're falling by the wayside. They're down, about 10 tickets right now, but give that about another 30 seconds, and that could be completely different.
Well, let's find out. Let's see if they can break this for one. They are having terrible luck with the spawns. Let's take a little look on the overview. Always towards the northeast or northwest, and those are such long runs, especially with players like David sitting in these buildings, just roaming around, waiting for you to try and break back in, but that is perfectly done. Coming out, I believe, from Romy there, sitting himself now up in a better position, claiming the higher ground, and maybe starting to look towards resecuring some of these sites. They've got through on A, they've picked up the kills necessary, and now I guess it's going to be B as the next target of focus, and, well, so far, only MhSV stands in their way.
And right now, one thing that I have to give credit to MhSV that they're doing really well is they're dealing with Hork. He's the man that will always back cap on you, always flank you every single time, but they pretty much shut him down for the most part of this, of getting any sort of thing going. He just went for a hit on A, got completely shut down. It's allowing a little bit of a push into B here. And it seems like we're seeing a little bit of a transition, a little bit of a swap here of positions out of both these teams, but you can see it towards that north building. Epsilon, they're picking up frags left and right here. There's only one man to defend on this flag, and well, he's going to be closing from a couple of directions. He has Mr. Nevax off to his left side, and Marsu trying to push right back in. And Rami will go down to that grenade. Marsu will fall as well here. So B going to be maintained for a little bit longer, but it doesn't matter. Epsilon, they have C, they have A, they have the 2-1 yet again, and look at the lead they built up now.
Yeah, that lead is looking a little disastrous, and let's MhSV get the 2-1 right about now. We've got Mr. Nevax going in towards that C flag, a good read from him. He resecured on B a little and then quickly rotated up towards the north of this map. He has, however, spotted a player coming in from that east side, so he needs to be a little cautious, play a little passive, and wait for his teammates to set up the crossfire, hopefully from these buildings. But look at that. Phalanx is under severe scrutiny. They cannot get comfortable, and that is what Epsilon are great at, constantly keeping these players on their toes. And I don't see this going well for MhSV now.
It's not looking like it so far. Already down about 40 tickets at this point, and it's only getting worse for them, as you see, unfortunately, them dropping again, picking up another frag, going 8-5 now. And even with all this evolution happening, it's not really mattering at this point. Yeah, you can take down the cover, but it comes back to the FPS 101. If you can't pick up the kills when it matters, you're never going to have any hopes to win the game. And look at this, a tri-cap yet again coming out of Epsilon, picking up the 3-0 hold, and now C flag will be attacked. In the meantime, you'll see in the building right there being pushed on. It looks like C will finally be broken, but it just doesn't matter. Epsilon, they're always falling back to 2 flags, and if anything, they can always pick up a tri-cap yet again.
And I kind of want to hear how it is on the Epsilon camp. They are, as you said, leading the way. So let's have a little tune in, see exactly how it's going down on their TeamSpeak right about now.
It's there. I can hear it.
One day. There's one more day.
Nice. We need a flag.
Wait, I'm coming.
D perhaps.
Yeah, one more.
One going 6, spotted. Help
One
me see.
ABs, two ABs.
Go behind him.
Hold one.
He's in trench, A trench.
2. They need
I'm behind them.
Yeah, right side, Tarek.
Head glitch.
They push me. 2. What's the wait? Hide somewhere.
One safe line.
I'm nading.
Related.
See that?
You're gonna lose B, guys.
Capsy.
I'm capping.
One on
I'm
the
capping.
B flag.
Get houses. Don't lose
And
more
glitch.
tickets.
B house.
One B house.
One down.
Two B.
We flag that.
Wait. Fuck B.
3 B house.
Oh, B flag is clear.
One
But
help
three
me A. Help defend me A.
One pushing A from B house. One going to trench. May.
Okay.
Trench
We flag.
and container.
I'm coming. Nice.
Yeah, one more.
Well, you can hear it there. Clear comms, staying calm, but getting a little scrappy for flags there. They took a long time to re-intake on that C flag up in the north. And that's given a little bit of a time for MhSV to get back into this game. And look at those tickets, 43 to 87. That gigantic lead Epsilon had at the start isn't looking so bad now, but still, this could turn at any point. Epsilon needs to lock it down, lock it out, keep that around 40 ticket lead, because 40 is manageable anymore, and MhSV might have trouble in the second half. But let's have a little look now. Look at it from the MhSV side. They are just scrapping for everything.
They are, but it seems like right now they finally able to get some sort of hold going on. They will lose C, but they're going to get a cap on A because a nice two-man push out of TU and out of Mr. Nevax was allowed them to pick that one up here. The C flag, though, you can see one man, Rami, coming in from behind. He's actually going to commit this one slowly, or he's actually rush straight in. He's going to be able to spot out the first man, picks up the kill, and he's getting the neutralize on it. This might be a tri-cap finally in the hands of MhSV if he can lock this one down. And it looks like Epsilon are going to take their time here, trying to go for this recap, or trying to at least hinder this one, as they finally do pick up the kill. Mars secures that one, and that would be the B flag. In the meantime, being picked up. So Epsilon turn this potential tri-cap back around to a 2-1 for them.
Yeah, MhSV trying to get back in towards B. They need this in their pocket. They're putting bodies in towards the side, but nothing's coming of it. Horrocks holding on like a champion. He's down to very little HP, but he did the job required, and now he can fall back, play smart, and they've got the central core of this map under wraps. They don't need to worry about the back spawns or anything like that. They just need to slow them down, crossing towards these sites. And this is vital. If MhSV don't make this cross, it could be all over.
This is probably one of their last few pushes left as well. They actually have two men towards C, as one of them already gets picked off the CP, dropped down. And unfortunately, A flag is being contested a little bit in the meantime too. But Epsilon again, it was what, 80 to 40, and it looked like, oh, this could be a really close game. But now look at it, 73 to 17. That's how quick it can kind of turn here for Epsilon once they do get some sort of control here. And this has to be the final push. They have 2 men to respawn back in. They have about 10 tickets left to work with. They have to cap a flag over right now. And it looks like that flag cap will come towards B.
Well, they have to do something. There's 2 players defending it. Phalanx is going in for it, but as you said, 8 tickets left. It's not a lot. He jumps over. He's looking for this. He might just stop the rock, but caught on the side. Surely this is not going to happen.
That's a little unfortunate for him right there, but now 5 tickets left to work with. They're going to get the neutralize on B. They're going to stop the bleed, but now they have 5 tickets left to work with. They have to somehow just mitigate the lead that Epsilon do have. They need to stop dying. They need to stop respawning people back in, and Epsilon are still coming in from the backside on B. They're going to pick up the kill, and that will, or most certainly should, lock down the round. However, Nevax is towards the C flag. He's going to try to neutralize it in the meantime to try to stop it even more.
Yeah, and the man on your screen right there, Mayak, having the game of his life, 21 to 5. If you wanted an answer to that question that's been asked of Mayak several times, you've got it right in this game. Perfect performance from him, and a huge lead for Epsilon.
Wow, that is a fantastic game one for him, considering all the arguments against him of being online or anything like that. But either way, if 1 ticket left to go, A flag will be capped over for the side of Epsilon, and they will have secured a first half victory. 55 tickets is that number. Sorry, 56 is that threshold they're going to be sitting on. Not a bad lead considering, but MhSV, they have to kind of go back to drawing board, see what went right, see what went wrong. But I do have to say, after about the first, 5 minutes, they finally did seem to get to understand the game plan out of Epsilon as they clawed their way back a little bit. But of course, towards the end, unfortunately, it wasn't long enough.
No, but the biggest problem here is that, for me at least personally, MhSV are not the MhSV that we've seen before. They're not the side that can really push people like, SK now, or push the others with that kind of unorthodox, really pestering game style. I don't see that in these guys. They seem a little watered down, a little bit grayer, a little bit blander. They're playing a very normal style, which is fine against most teams. But then you get your Fnatics and Epsilons who put it at their top priority to be able to play that. And MhSV coming in with that now, I'm not sold. And the problem is now that 56 ticket lead, it may not seem like much, but then you put it into the equation earlier on in the game where it was a little closer.
Yeah.
That's a huge deficit to be working with.
It really is. And right now, MhSV, I feel like that was maybe a little bit of a warm-up for them. Obviously, they've had time to prepare here. They've had time to actually play a couple of scrims, get things going, get ready and prepared.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've seen teams in the past, you know, thinking back to last season, you know, some teams just need a little bit more time. Planet Q Dynamics back then, you know, they wouldn't look that great at the beginning, but then all of a sudden they would, like, figure it out or somehow just wake up.
It just clicks.
Yeah, and it just clicks, and they're able to really perform well. But, again, Epsilon, once you have a little bit of a lead here, I'm a little bit afraid that they can kind of just take it all the way. I mean, if you keep in mind, if they win, they will go up against Feature Makers, and loser, which would be MhSV, goes up against Legionnaire. It's still going to be a hard game either way, depending if you win or lose.
And speaking to a couple of teams, you know, coming into this event, they're saying that your MYMs, your SKs and Epsilons are actually the teams to beat, not your Fanatics anymore. Not those guys. They had their time apparently, and now it's the new kids on the block in a way, I guess. But they've still got to get through these early games. They still have to get these good performances in and look solid, because otherwise teams like MYM will be watching in the audience going, oh, we spotted a weakness already. Let's get working on that. It's simple as that, and Epsilon are looking strong, but I just want more from MhSV. They're not the side that I thought they were going to be coming into this. And I think that's going to be an issue going forward.
Yeah, actually, I really agree with that. I didn't think about it that way, but now it does make sense. I'm not really feeling it as well. The thing is, like, their attacks... Like, how do you deal with someone who's 22-5? Like, yeah, you can have the best strategies in the world, but if you can't kill Mayak, who goes that kind of scoreline in the first half of his first time being here at a LAN event, then you're not going to do too well.
No, so a lot of options on the plate now for Epsilon. They are underway in the second half. 56 tickets is the threshold here for MhSV, who are on the Chinese side. And obviously on the US side, it will be Epsilon. And straight away, the target of focus for Epsilon is a cheeky pickup on C, a half commitment on A, but also a swing rotate to pick up on towards B if needed. So possibly going for a trip cap straight away.
It definitely could, and we've seen typically something that works out well is if you control the buildings, you control the map, you control the pace of the game here, and it looks like Epsilon have been able to get control of that. And one thing I want to point out, if we can head over to him really quickly, TU is actually at the A flag. He's been sitting there, committing there for a long time, waiting for a respawn to come in. He finally does get it, and it looks like they might be able to thwart this hole that Epsilon was able to pick up.
Well, they certainly need to. Tickets already looking a little dire for MhSV TU, though, doing the damage, as you pointed out, with the ACWR. Curious choice, extraordinarily strong in that hipfire, and in these confined spaces, these confined areas, it's perfect for him. He can control this, but it's not equating to a flag, Jason, and that's the issue.
It's not, but one thing, luckily for him, he did do, he pulled a couple of people back. He's still alive. Eventually, he does go down with the commentator's curse, but he pulled people away from that B flag for that potential tri-cap that you pointed out earlier on, and kind of mitigate that. In the meantime, it's about a little bit of time for Felix to actually go for a cap on a C. It's just going to come down to this 1v1 with him and Hork of who can actually pick up this flag or at least stay alive long enough. And of course, seeing the engineer class taking down a couple of buildings. Hork off to the side, going to be coming around the corner, shoots through the fence here, picks up the kill, and will lock C and B back down for the side of Epsilon.
And the big point I want to say is here that MhSV actually had control of B, which is arguably one of the more important sides on this map, but they did not seem in control, and they seem so far behind the style and the kind of presence Epsilon are bringing to this, because Epsilon aren't doing anything spectacular. They're not going above and beyond, but they're just playing that 40% better Battlefield.
40%, definitely. And well, maybe we should actually head into the comms of MhSV, just kind of listen. No, not listen.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
I just want to hear what they have to say.
I don't know how good my German is, though, which could be the issue.
Schmetterling.
Yeah, Schmetterling.
Feuerwehr, einer da, nice.
Single House ist oben.
Oben, ja.
4 weg, 4 weg.
4 weg.
Ich geh Bunker.
Wo sind die Spawns?
Single House ist einer. Wie viele jetzt hier?
B-Seite. 2 oben, Single. Felix, schieb.
Ja, wohin?
Hinterlaufen schön. Ich zieh die Fleck. Geh weiter links.
Ich gehe
Zwei Single aus.
Einer Single aus, aufpassen.
2 Single aus, 2 da.
Wir seid unter
Gespottet.
einer Outspot.
Er ist low, Single House. Er ist down,
Nice,
einer down.
nice. Noch einer.
Pass auf, die pushen herum. L.
Blue steht einer.
Ja, linke Seite L.
We have some great translation coming through to us, but guys, hopefully you at home might be able to get some translations going. If you do, anyone who doesn't know German, let us know your thoughts on that one. But they don't sound too flustered, they sound fairly calm. But with the tickets getting to this point, I'm not sure I would be.
Yeah, I mean, consider it's the first map as well. He wouldn't be able to come out on a high note from this one. And David picking up a big kill on a Felix and still locking down control of these builds. That's one thing that Epsilon has done so well in this matchup so far is control these buildings. I mean, even with the destruction that's been able to happen without the walls being there, they're doing a fantastic job because they're winning these close quarter combat fights.
You constantly heard one single, one in double. You know, they were constantly talking about these buildings, how there's always a player in there. If they got them low, 3 respawned on them. Epsilon is so hard to bully out of position that even when you control B, you don't feel like it. You feel like you're still not in the best position possible. So for me, MhSV have to, 1, remove Epsilon from those buildings, and 2, be able to fight them on these fronts. And they're not doing either of those small points that can really add up to such a victory here, as B does get once again won over by Epsilon, and it's leaving A quite the far away side for MhSV, and they only had 2 players alive.
And one thing we used to see back in the day, which I don't think will work anymore because of the scoreline alone, is you know, that long cap around the backside of B, you go right into the pit, you go working towards A from the trenches as well, which it looks like they might be trying to go for potentially, but that takes too much time. You only have about 20 tickets left to work with here, and they need to make something happen now. They need to cap something over. They will get B. However, in the meantime, there's still a 2-man push towards that C flag here, and only 1 man to defend against it.
You saw Nevex's choices there. He was halfway to doing that long rotate down towards the south trenches, go all the way around. But then, as you said, time is of the essence. 56 tickets left is pretty much the threshold. Look at that for the Chinese side. As soon as that hits, that is GG. It's done. It's dusted. First map out of the way. They're fighting for everything they can, correct? But there's still so many tickets to take away from Epsilon, who are yet to drop below 100. And Marzu and David coming and doing the damage is going to make it worse. You've got to look at MhSV and say, why aren't they locking down these sides? How are 2 players allowed to walk into B like that? When players like P are up in these buildings, they should be locking it down. But Jason, there's only a good couple of pushes left, and this trip cap has just made it even worse.
That just might do it here as well. They're able to get a little bit of room here, a little bit of breathing room towards the A5s. They do have 1 man capping it over, but you know, it just might be a little bit too late here. Remember, 56 is that threshold. They have about 10 tickets left to work with here. If they can win out this fight, this 1v1 towards C, they could take away quite a bit of the bleed here. But the question comes into is it a little bit too late? Marzu picks up one, looking for the second one as well. He knows there's another man there. He spots about, throws a grenade towards the backside, trying to lure him out of his cover. But he's just buying time. Yeah, he's going to go down, but you know what? He's bought enough time for his team to finally make their way towards C for backup or even hit towards A.
Time is of the essence, Jason. 2 or 3 tickets in this game, and as you said, C being pressured, Epsilon going in for the final kill.
And they can't afford to respawn anymore. They need the revives, and David picking up a nice frag on a P, going to charge straight in, as he unfortunately does drop here. But with 108 tickets left to go, it's only a matter of time before they drop below that 56 ticket threshold. And that means Epsilon will come out with a 1-map lead here in this best of 3, taking us over to Siege of Shanghai. And honestly, MhSV, they looked a little bit better that game. A little bit, but Epsilon still just looked at 39% better.
And I could say it this way, Mehek took his foot off the pedal almost there. He was on 20-odd kills in the first half, and he was on maybe like 5 or 6 on the second. Okay. It's a big difference in individual play, let's put it that way. A player who goes, all right, I'm going to prove a point, and a player who's like, okay, let's just coast now. Let's not give away anything. Let's play the smart game. And that's what they did. They fell back to standard Storm, Parasol Storm. But now, I don't know, Shanghai is the next map coming up. This was a map that we have seen MhSV do well on. However, I don't know if they can do that now. This is the thing, they're not the same team that we saw before. They're not the same team who can pressure and push teams to really breaking point. I'm not sure what to expect.
And I'm really wondering, you know, you think about the whole tournament, you think about where they're at right now. Obviously, if they do lose, they still can come back into the loser bracket half of the tournament. But if they have anything now, like any special strategy, you think they're going to show it? Or you think they're trying to maintain it a little bit later? Because they obviously would be up against Legionnaires, and I don't know what they think about them or how they saw them a little bit earlier on. But, you know, it's this whole kind of mind games that's going on in my head that I'm thinking about. You know, obviously the 2 new maps we haven't seen yet either. Is any team saving? Is that like their ace in the hole that they're kind of holding on to?
I know most teams are happy to play propaganda to an extent. It's one of the ones they feel is actually very viable. I know that there's a good couple of teams who have fully stratted it and feel very, very good on that to maybe bring it in later. However, I didn't hear it from these 2 teams. So I'm not sure. Lumphinigun, if someone wants to throw a curveball, that would be it. Because that's the map that people are like, that's almost a soft ban straight away. If you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that's a map we probably won't see unless a team has done something extraordinary on it and broken the kind of current meta on it. No one feels comfortable yet. They haven't quite worked out that vibe for it. But coming into this one, everyone knows how to play Shanghai, or at least they should.
I would hope so. I really would hope so here. And it looks like we will have over on the US side, MhSV, Epsilon over on the Chinese side. And what are you kind of expecting in terms of how this game is going to start between these two teams?
Epsilon, I think there's going to be aggression coming straight out of the gates. They want to prove a point. I think they'll go for the safety pickup on B. Big challenge on the street, starting on the more southern side of this map. And I think in the north, MhSV have to expect that. They've got to meet them right in that street and play a smart game. Maybe send one on the long rotate. They used to do that with Holiday. I'd like to see that again, but let's find out.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off the second map in the first half right now. We're going to find if Epsilon can take a nice, healthy lead like they were able to do on Parasol Storm. Kind of going for a slow push towards B, like you kind of mentioned. And it looks like they will have one man towards the backside of A to watch for any wide flanks here. But Meg, again, the man made a name for himself, you know, back in the winter season, coming into this offline environment, proving to be very good here in that first half of Parasol Storm. Like I said, taking his foot off the gas.
Very good right now, though, is Duke. Picking up the triple on the way across the road. He's basically opened this map up and said, well, guys, if you're all going to play passive, which Epsilon were, which was surprising, I'll go and be aggressive and do what we should have done, but by myself, which is exactly what he did. He got through on the push. He's on 5-1 right now. They've got A and B, and hell, they're even trying for a little bit of C. They should be met here in the end by MhSV, but they bought time that the respawns can come back in, reinforce on Phalanx possibly, and then should be able to get to B. But look at that respawn for Duke. That is unbelievable.
It really is. And, you know, that's one thing we hardly mention that often is the fact of, you know, fighting on the opponent's side of the map, because it buys you time, like you mentioned, to get some respawns in to, you know, prepare for a counterattack here. But Duke, again, lucky respawn coming back in towards the C flag, buying some time, not committing too much noise, just say. He's not really trying to give his position away. Maybe waiting for him to push out of C, hit towards B or A, and go for that back cut like Corp typically would. Felix is going to pick up a nice little frag right there in towards that middle street. And they have the BC flag hold. Not a bad hold at all here for these teams. And they are going to be able to pick up a little bit of a lead here in just a few seconds.
So basically, Duke is picking off players very slowly, weakening it, and waiting for Epsilon then to make their push through this sort of angle. So now they timed it very well. They've started beginning the push, but in the end of the day, MhSV were already in position and actually locked it down extraordinarily well. So Epsilon are actually struggling here. They overextended towards that C flag, and it's basically left this open. However, this backspawn may cause a lot of trouble because you don't expect it to come from that C side of the map towards the north. And, well, at the moment, it looks like TU maybe did.
Well, we'll get a little bit of information there. Fortunately for the side of Epsilon, they still have 2 minutes pushing towards C. They're going to pick up the 1 frag they do need there, and they will cap that C flag. In the meantime, MhSV, they seem to have recouped a little bit. Remember, this isn't even their choice. This is Epsilon's map choice, and yet they're playing this one pretty damn well here so far. Already been able to build up about a 15-ticket advantage. And we're going to find out if they can maintain it here as the game progresses on.
Yeah, and look at this play from David. Taking the slightly longer route, and he does pick up the kill. That opens up on that west side of the flank. He can now pick up A pretty much on his own, or at least wait for a reinforcement, and then do the clean sweep of the street. Starting in the south, working up north, and claiming A is so important because it complements B very well. It will also alienate the rest of MhSV and kind of make them struggle for their point of focus. I would love to hear, though, how Epsilon are currently doing in their camp, because they're trailing on tickets.
I'm going from long. I don't have nade.
One down head glitch.
Nice.
Is it clear?
There
Yes,
is bad,
please,
bad. One more head glitch, I think.
You see? No. Right?
No.
See, sorry.
Balcony, balcony. Escalator left.
One down C flag.
Nice, many dead.
C is clear, I think. Let's see.
I'm going balcon.
I'm going gay. Guys, I'm going gay. I got
Head glitch here. What can I do?
Balcon.
Why am I burning? I'm far away from the fire.
One in
They have in
balcon.
the C long one.
One C flag.
One A, guys.
I got killed somewhere.
One corner on me. C flag, one corner dead.
I back.
Core shop.
Safe like that. One more.
Where?
Near car shop. This killed in action.
Capping.
One dead core shop.
And you could just hear right there, why am I burning? Why am I burning? They're having a good time here. I mean, yeah, they were, you know, losing tickets at the time, but they realized they're up one map. They seem calm, which is really impressive considering, you know, what's at stake here.
They sound a little frustrated, though. I've got to say it. There was a little bit of, like, a couple of bated breaths in that one. I'd say, yeah, it was the long sighs from David there, who's meant to be your team captain. If he's the guy who gets flustered, you kind of worry, don't you? He should be the cool, calm, collected dude that never loses it. But if he starts getting annoyed, if he starts getting a little, you know, frustrated by this whole game at times, that could be a problem. But regardless of his frustration, they have picked up the B and C hold. And MhSV are only left with really 2 players alive. They've reinforced a little here, and they do have a good shout of picking up A, but this could be a trip cap if they don't make it there in time.
This is going to be a little bit unfortunate for them. They got to hurry up here. And right now, MhSV, they're trying to push it towards the A flag. It looks like P going to lead with the grenades. I won't actually catch him out just. They're going to charge straight in, but it gets taken down here. And that's going to be Hort picking up one. Unfortunately, going to be jumped right after his 2 to secure the kill. And they will at least turn the A flag back. But again, they're still down by 1 flag. They need to secure something yet again here. And one thing we should mention at least, look at both teams here. Duke 14-6, TU 14-6.
Yeah, 2 players doing really nicely for their teams. And funny enough, they're the players that split off on their own and pick up the flags. You heard it every now and then, I'm going to go get A, and there's Duke just running off picking up A. That's his kind of job in this one. He'll try and do the back caps and try and get around to the positions that maybe MhSV don't expect. And so far, this has been a lovely turn of events. And TU now trying to deal with a threat on all fronts. Marzu goes down, and that is him locking out on B again. This guy's on fire.
He is, and this is really dangerous here for Epsilon. Yeah, they are up 1 map here in this best of 3, but if they do lose this one, we would go over to Zavod here. And MhSV, they need this morale boost. They need a little bit of momentum here, and right now, a nice little push comes in. David gonna be able to go back towards the A flag here with the help of Horik and secure that one, so they will break through the defense. Even though there's 2 people watching that street cross, he just kind of let them walk by, and unfortunately gets taken down right after.
Yeah, so A's in their hands, but look at that, a nice counterplay to get straight up in the north to pick up on C. However, TU needs to lock this site down. This kill is highly important. There's going to be another coming around the corner. This could go very wrong for him. 2 players overwhelmed. He can't get it under wraps, but his team might be able to pick up the pieces.
Well, they will get that B flag. They will still maintain A for a little bit longer here. Mr. Nevax is trying to come around towards that A flag. He's just kind of sitting there buying his time as Felix. They're trying to push right back in towards B, but gets naded down right away here. And right now, MhSV, they look strong in the beginning. But look at this, Mr. Nevax, he does not expect David to be right around the corner. David knows he's there. He's just waiting for him. He's toying with him.
Yeah, just toying with his prey, but did
There's a second man coming, though.
Oh, that could change as David could be caught out. This could change the whole map because so many players from Epsilon are pushed up towards C. It's going to leave MhSV to be able to pick up on A, and if they're quick enough, they could even challenge out on B here.
They could, and with that little bit of a 3-man push coming towards A, at least C a little bit vulnerable as well. As you see, Epsilon able to cap that one over, and it looks like MhSV are not going to go for the push on towards that B flag. It looks like they might want to go back and hit towards the C. However, it looks like TU might be the man to break off since he is leading in frags at 17-7. Might as well kind of take his chances there since he's been able to pull off some fantastic shots here so far.
He took his chances and they didn't go too well, but looking at those tickets, he needs to take more because it's 70-33, and this game was extraordinarily close at the beginning, and now it's just spiraled out of control for MhSV. They have to pick up the pieces. They've got to play smart. They've got to lock down this street. They're giving too much. They're pushing too aggressively. They need to just play passive for a little while and then work their way in.
And somehow Make has turned into Horik going for the back cap towards A here. So they're going to pull up a tri-cap towards the end of this first half with about 68 tickets. And with 1 good push left in here out of MhSV, they have to pull something out now. They need this B pickup, which they will for sure get. There's no even near C right now, so they will be able to lock that one down and have a 2-1. And look at this, they're going for a cheeky tri-cap as well here with that 1 man. Mr. Nevax going for it. And there's no one even there to really stop him. Epsilon just let this one completely slip.
And if they're fast enough to lock out this area right at the south side of the kind of mall, they might be able to watch enough of the cross to slow down Epsilon. However, Mayek going back in for the 1-2 challenge here. This could go well, it could go very wrong. He does pick up 1, and if he's not stopped, this is cap on C that most of the time you wouldn't care about could be game-changing, and well, I think he might have just done it for them pretty much here.
Picks up 2 kills by himself. The rest of his team get the cap on A. They get the cap on a B as well. They're going to pull off a tri-cap here to pretty much end things off with. This is the last push. This is guaranteed almost 100% the last push coming out of MhSV with 6 tickets left to go. And I hate to say it, but that's going to be it here. Epsilon going to be able to pick up the first half with a 53-52 ticket lead. No point to respawn anyone back in here just yet. And honestly, Duke, 23-3, I think it was, or 23-9 to finish someone off with fantastic scoreline of him. And 2, we mentioned him at 16 and, what was it, 16-6 or something like that? He only got 1 kill from that point on to finish at 17-10.
To be fair to him, you can only change the game as much as you can on your own, you know what I mean? He literally was single-handedly dragging his team through that map. Players getting 6, 8, 7 kills, it's not enough. Not enough for that sort of ticket differential. And allowing a player of the opposition to get 23, it doesn't quite make sense. So basically what Duke was doing, which you heard through the calls, at least when we tuned in a little while from Epsilon, is that he'll just read the situation and kind of understand where they should then go. So he'll say, okay, so you guys are focusing on B, for example. All right, I'm going to go A. He'll take himself off, go around the long way. We've seen David do it a couple of times, but he got caught out by those 2 players then. But that aside, he plays it very well. He plays it by ear. He just kind of feels where the situation is, and he'll play to it. And he just must have read these guys like a book, because to get that many kills is just dominance.
It is. It really is. I mean, we look at the first half, you know, with mhEIC. He went 22 and something ridiculous in that game as well.
I think that's to prove a point, you know what I mean? Like, you got that feeling. He's been questioned so long.
I wonder, though, what happened? Like, do they allow him to play like a Slayer role in that first half and then pull him back after that? Because we saw him backcapping and kind of playing a little bit more of an anchor that time. And, you know, back thinking of him in the winter 2013 season, he was the aggressor. He was the Slayer.
Yep.
And I think that might just be due to the 2 seasons he didn't play with them, allowing David and Duke to step up and kind of, you know, build the team around them a little bit.
And that's it. This is the thing that I kind of pointed towards maybe being the one weakness in Epsilon, is that back in the days, you know, mhEIC was that aggressive player. He's played with David for years now. And obviously, knowing the team captain, you can occasionally maybe try, you know, be a friend to him, be a buddy, and be like, oh, let me play that role again, you know? But that could also make a little bit of a rough patch for these teams. I know that a couple of other teams have had arguments recently. We've seen roster changes. I know that Safe's had a little bit of a, you know, a rough time around. So there's a lot of kind of stuff on the line, and it comes down in these high-octane situations where these teams have to play smart, play together. That could be the one problem with mhEIC now joining back in.
We're going to find out here as we kick off the second half here. And what's your thoughts really quickly? You pointed out Epsilon going for that slow push on the B. Do you think we're going to see the same thing out of MhSV?
I didn't like the passive nature, leaving Duke to do the 3-man pickup. I'd have preferred the whole team to go for that. But, you know, it's down to preference. I quite like the aggression straight onto the street. But it looks like the 2 holding on A and 3 pressuring out towards B. So it's going to be an equal matchup. But they do have mhEIC playing this pestering role, going the long rotate. He could cause a big difference here, because he's out on his own now.
We're going to find out if Epsilon can take it too, just like their brothers Mitri Makers did a little bit earlier on here. And they might just be fighting for their tournament life a little bit, trying to keep into that winner's bracket. As we do see, too strong out of David. Picks up 2 kills with that CZ, pushes in towards A as well. He's got one more man to deal with on the flag. And when he spots him out, goes for the hit by yet again, picks up one, picks up a second. And they're going to secure that A flag and the C flag, and they will have the early 2-1.
What a phenomenal play coming out from David then. Reading the situation well, pushing into them, and picking, what, a triple up, basically, to secure one of the important flags in this. And hell, they might even make it a triple gap. Jason, this is Epsilon proving a point.
This is. I mean, it's the perfect time to do it as well. I mean, you give a little bit of hope to MhSV, but you're going to completely take it away from them and send them down to the loser's bracket. Like, this would be perfect for them. But Horic pushing back in, they're going to get the final kills they need on that B flag, and that will, in fact, be a tri-cap. And well, there's only one man to defend on the C. It's going to be mhEIC playing that little bit of an anchor role here. And you see Mr. Nevak try to do something about it, but mhEIC's holding him back. Like, he's keeping his time occupied, not allowing to neutralize the flag, because every second that they do not capitalize on the situation is another ticket that goes in the hands of Epsilon.
Certainly is. And 136 to 122. MhSV had to have been leading by some point in this. A triple cap is appalling for them. They've got the back A spawn.
They're holding it, though. Look at this.
But mhRZU can also fall back, and I think he will. He's got backup on the street. They're ready to support by watching B. He can maybe push, maybe go for the retake rather than the challenge, but it's down to mhRZU. How does he want to play it out? But he's got to make his mind up, because on the east side, we're seeing that push from MhSV come out for B.
It's coming in, but he's got 3 men to worry about here as he gets chased down. Mr. Nevak's going to get dropped here by, I believe, David yet again. And right now, Epsilon are just picking up kill after kill after kill. TU, the last man standing in the squad, he's over towards A flag, gets a couple of respawns in. And let's see if he can hold on to this. You can see he already spots that 1 man, throws it, he tries to get away. He's down to 50 points of health as he just completely backs off, trying to buy a little bit of time. He eventually does fall here to mhEIC. And this A flag is still under contention. mhEIC pushing from the front. You have 1 more man pushing from the backside. It's going to be mhRZU. They pick up the kills. They're going to pick up a tri-cap. Yeah, for a split second, but it doesn't matter. They're proving a point.
They are on fire right now. I questioned them before, but they let... Do you know what I said at the start? mhEIC's playing that kind of play the looser role, push around that flag. He's already on 9-2, so he loves that position. And I guess it's down between him and Duke who does it. Maybe on attack, maybe on defense, maybe on, you know, whichever way they feel. Exactly. It's down to them to switch up. And then David picking up that triple at the start. just kind of ruined this for MhSV. And now Mayek and Co can just set up a couple of weak on sites. So like Mayek will solo this for a while and leave the rest to just push through down on towards A. So it creates such a long road for MhSV to have to walk down to even get close to this. And those tickets are so close already to the threshold. This game could be over so fast.
Pansy, it's 33-11 in kills for Epsilon. They are just completely walking over them. They have made a point here in this game, and they're proving to be a top team to really beat. 64 tickets they're at currently, 53 is that threshold, and right now if they can't get a 2-1, this is going to be it for them. They're getting wiped out yet again. 2 men pushing towards the C flag, 1 man defending A, and it looks like they might be able to neutralize C, but again, Mayek, he's proven himself before. He might be able to do it yet again. He might be able to pull off the 1v2 here. There's going to be 1 man now left alive here. He gets a teammate up towards the escalator. They don't pick up the kill just yet, but it's a matter of time here. 2 tickets left to go, and Epsilon with the cap onto the A5. This is going to be it here. They're going to secure themselves a win, getting into the winner's bracket to play against Meteor Makers, and 2-0 in MhSV, forcing them to play against Legionnaires, the Australian team.
Gotta say it, Epsilon look very damn good so far in this tournament. Stellar performance, locking down what they needed. Mayek answering every single question posed to him as well. That's the bigger point here, is Mayek's performance was second to none. He had a quiet half on the second map, I think.
Yeah.
And that was it. Every other time, he's been leading the way. 14-2 currently out of this entire team, top of that leaderboard. And what a debut to make to the ESL One stage.
You know the dangerous thing about Epsilon is? Any one of them can perform like that. Any one of them can get ridiculous score lines. I mean, Mars through the past, he's been so solid, but he can come out these ridiculous numbers, pulling off like these 1v3s, 1v4s.
Duke when he's allowed, David when he has to.
Horde with the back caps. I mean, that's a very dangerous team to go up against. And, you know, I really wonder, they've lost 3 seasons in a row now. Is this going to be finally their time to make it through the finals and to secure themselves finally, after practically a year's time, a cup and the money?
But for once they have the lineup maybe they wanted. All these years, they'd probably be going, maybe if we had Mayek, maybe if we had this. You know, there's always that slight point missing. In the Epsilon machine, there was a cog out of place, and that was maybe Mayek. And now bringing him back in has just let it all slip into position. However, let's flip it a little here and take it from the other point of view, because MhSV are not the MhSV that we've seen leading up to this tournament. They don't look anywhere near like what I expected.
And Epsilon, they've gone bounds beyond what I expected out of them. I mean, MhSV, we have to think about. Obviously, they're going to be playing up next against Legionnaires.
Yep.
You saw the Legionnaires game. I'm really wondering, like, MhSV, was it just kind of being caught off guard in that game? Was it not underestimating Mayek, maybe underestimating David? Was it them just not really focusing up and really performing like they should have been? There's so many questions, and I really wonder which one of these 2 teams is going to be knocked out now.
I think MhSV seem like a bit of a mixed team. They seem like they haven't turned up as a complete collective. They had moments of looking okay, but watching Legionnaires, they showed a lot more of those moments of having a concise team that actually had execution. And let's bear in mind, a lot of people will tip MYM to be one of the teams that will win this, followed by SK, who we've not yet seen. So Epsilon, you remove them from the equation, who, look strong. You're seeing the top 2 teams kind of in the mix already in essence. So MYM should be trashing everyone they meet, regardless of who they are, whether they're from the Oceanic qualifiers or whether they're just a regular normal team from this season. MYM should be hands down above them. Whereas MhSV, they should have been a little closer, I feel.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out obviously in their next game, but for now we're going to head back to Red Eye, who has an interview with the winners.
Thank you, Jason. Yes, David, well done. Congratulations. A little bit earlier on, I spoke to the guys at MYM and asked them, was that an easy win? I'm going to ask the same thing, because that didn't seem like the same team we saw in the qualifying cups.
I don't know. It was a bit hard in the beginning, I think, because we didn't play very well, so we had needed a little time to step up and...
Hang on, you don't feel like you played very well?
I had good rounds and bad rounds, so... As a team, I mean, we didn't start very well, I think, but in the end, we showed what we can do.
I mean, what did you make of your opposition today? Were they as good as you expected, or were they worse?
Yeah, we expected them to be pretty good, because we met them online a lot of times, and sometimes we struggled against them. They had a different lineup now, but yeah, they were as expected, I think. We prepared, they were pretty good, so...
Okay.
Don't underestimate anyone.
You don't underestimate him anyway. That's good news. You guys as a team, how are you feeling about this last one of the year? We've seen you all season long, all through the different cups. We've seen you every single time we come to the LAN. You're always there or thereabouts, but haven't quite got it together for a championship. Is this your season?
I hope so. Well, I mean, we really want to win it now, and we show we can perform on LAN as well, so we really want to win it now.
Who are the most...
there's no other chance now. So.
Okay, who are the other dangerous teams for you this weekend?
I think the same as usual. So Fnatic will be really good. I think SK Gaming and also MIM look strong. So these are the top 4 teams in my opinion at this game.
Is there anyone else out there that maybe, Planet Key Dynamics maybe that could surprise?
You always have to look out for Planet Key because they surprised us already before. So and I think they can make surprise in this season as well. So
is this the easier group? Do you think of the two?
I think yes.
You're happy with the group?
Yeah, I am happy, yes.
All right, well, congratulations. Well done on Game 1. Good luck in your winners' game final. That's coming up a little bit later on. Next up, of course, more action from Group A. Don't go too far away.